Yeah, I mean, look, Wednesday he'll go. I had a planned rotating some guys. Nasi was gonna, play a portion. Gabe was gonna play a portion. Marco was potentially gonna play a portion, but we found ourselves in the game, and I felt like we had some guys. I tried to set myself up with ways to split the game in some version of half or in 2/3 or something for the group that we wanted to get off, depending on how the game was going and how much we felt like guys were drowning or losing some of their getting fatigued. Let's say Nasi coming on was always going to be the plan around halftime. Elijah was feeling a little bit tight in the hamstring as he wasn't necessarily a total planned sub, but we made that adjustment there. And then yeah, I agree. I felt like we started to find the game better. We started to look more dangerous. I told them we were going to give every opportunity for ourselves to get back into the game, and then it was 1-1. So yeah, just trying to manage two things, which is seeing that game out and getting a result, but also being mindful of a couple guys just in terms of turnaround and things like that. Again, it's a difficult moment to try to be thinking about two things, but I thought in transitions we were getting out and we were looking like maybe we could get something, but when they were breaking down, we were very split apart as a team. And so, the idea there at the end was just to try to keep a little bit more control of the spaces behind the ball when we did break out in transitions. Yeah, and I felt like we were all right. And then, Messi dribbles by us, which should never happen, and he does what he does, which is finish a chance when you get him the opportunity to look forward. But everything else was more or less dealt with, and it shouldn't happen. Lucas was there; he was in front of him. He needs to be a little less naive, even foul him, but he can't let Messi dribble by him and have the ball and facing our goal. And that's just an opportunity that changes the game. It changes everything, the momentum down the stretch, and I think the emotion a bit down the stretch.
And clearly, you guys aren't the first team to be victimized by Messi and what he's able to do there. I mean, just the ability maybe to play in the small spaces and certainly, like you said, to sort of take Lucas on and get around him and then still be able to finish chances and the assist as well.
Yeah,
what do you see from that on the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible because he literally, like, to me, he looks like he's not healthy yet. That's just me. I'm not speaking for anybody, but he wasn't really moving. He was conserving. He was stretching at times. And I feel like for our guys behind the ball, we need to recognize, okay, he's not really like changing speeds or hitting top speeds. He's coming off of a hamstring injury. We just have to make his life really difficult and make him fight through every touch he gets, make him fight through that moment. And that means talking to each other and making sure we're organizing the marking of him. And that is situated. And he doesn't get just make it difficult. And I feel like if you give him the opportunity, he can pull off any single play in any game from anywhere. And we just needed to, yeah, I feel like we let it slip away because I don't think he needed to come off free. And if he does get free, then you've got to impede him and make sure that he and the ball don't both get on the other side of you. If he passes it, you got to make sure you track him and stay with him. So it's a little frustrating because I didn't feel like he was necessarily as dynamic as he's capable of being, and he still was able to make the difference there. I know the pass was ridiculous. Again, just the vision that he has to flick it kind of behind the heel right into the path of Suarez, I think it was. It just shows his quality and his awareness of the field. But again, I think we can, at that point in the game at 1-1, I think we have to be a little less naive. I know it's easier to say than maybe to do sometimes with him, but I feel like we let one slip away. I thought there was at least a point there for us tonight.
And my final one on Joe and his goal. He's sort of been turning it on here in the last, I don't even know how many games, 9 games, something like that, where he has, 7 something goals and an assist. Are you starting to see him sort of become the guy who was the guy that you needed down the stretch last year?
Yeah, I think I do. I feel like he's becoming more direct again, which is when I think he's at his best. When he's facing forward, when he's running forward, when he's playing and running. If he's going to pick up the ball in the dribble, then just be direct and really go after guys. I think he noticed that he had a matchup that if he could get facing forward and get the first couple steps, that he could get around the corner in the matchup that he had. And I feel like he's he's recognizing these things in the game and these opportunities, and he's been able to, again, create chances, get some goal scoring chances, finish a couple along the way. So we need him to keep being dynamic like that. And I liked him coming from obviously the outside, which we knew we were going to do as we shifted into the half. The first half, we thought maybe we could catch him in a couple transition moments because they like to put their fullbacks really high, and we thought maybe we could get Joe running off of those center backs in transition. But I liked him coming off the outside tonight for sure.
Thanks, Rick.
Yep.
Thanks, Josh. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, Greg. Thanks so much for talking to us. We saw Gabriel Peck come off with Zafran Diego Fagundes there in the 79th minute.
Yeah.
But in particular, Gabriel Peck brought off precautionary with the look ahead to Pachuca on Wednesday, perhaps?
Yeah, there's a couple things. There's a few of our guys who I think had a little bit of food poisoning discomfort over the last few days. Gabe was one of them, a couple others. And so I was concerned a little bit about fatigue, hydration, stuff like that with him as the game was progressing. Gabe's usually a guy that's pretty good for every minute and pretty durable in every way, but I could see him at times kind of grimacing, and I felt like he wasn't that he wasn't feeling so great out there. So there was a couple guys who had been fighting that over the last couple days, and I was a little mindful of Gabe in that situation as well. So
this team hasn't been able to find the 3 points on the road yet this year. What do you think? I mean, amongst other things, in a crazy year this year, what do you think that says about the mentality of this team so far this year? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say what I said to them at the end of the game is we were here and there was an opportunity to take something out of this game. And like sometimes I think when you're on the road, 1-1 isn't the worst, and against Miami is not the worst result, but we have to be more mature and more savvy about how to go for the win without giving up the draw. And I feel like, again, it's little moments inside the game, our organization underneath and behind the ball versus sending too many numbers in the attack to really try to get the win and then exposing ourselves in the other direction. It's like there's some savviness that, for us, and some maturity in some of these moments, especially when you're on the road, that you don't need to overexpose yourself and with the goal of getting the win. The win is something you should be able to work through, and you'll find your moments, but sometimes you can't force it on the road. You have to be a little bit more, like I said, a little more savvy, a little more aware, a little more protective in certain situations. At times in some of our longer possessions, just numbers just kept going forward, and we just kept going forward, and if that attack doesn't finish in transition, you're spread out. The recovery runs become more expensive physically. So I think, again, some of these things are just maturity issues for us in certain situations where winning on the road, little like details, especially on the defensive side, become so important.
Thanks, Rob. All right, Sophie, go ahead.
Hi, Greg. I have a couple for you. First one is, what's it been like for you navigating through a challenging season in the league, but also we see it everywhere in football now. There's so many games that players have to play, and player health seems to be, I know for you it's at the top of your list, but for the game itself, they just keep demanding more and more from players. How's it been for you to kind of navigate through this?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting season. I think, and I'll speak for MLS as a whole, as we again increase the amount of games, the amount of competitions. For us, obviously, going through some roster changes after winning the championship, things like that. Like if team sort of depth is something you're still working on, or bringing along younger players, or your team depth isn't quite interchangeable in some positions, and sometimes a little bit like for like, where when you want to put somebody new onto the field, that person has similar qualities so that you don't have to change the game completely. Like, just it's the depth of the rosters become such a big thing, and you see that all around the world. I mean, if you look at a club like Manchester City, the amount of high quality players and the amount of money that they're spending to just load up their rosters, a lot of it's just to compete in all these different competitions and deal with whatever these guys are playing, 80 plus 70 to 80 plus games a year sometimes. And so that to me becomes a difficult one. And for us, we got a little younger, we got a little thinner in terms of our overall depth, and trying to manage these different competitions, I think, has taken its toll. Some of the profiles that we're mixing in different moments are just different, and so we don't have anyone that's really similar to Joe and Gabe that comes into the game at times if we need to give them a break to push them to the next game. So there's little things that we've got to continue to work, and we are, and talking as a group, and how to continue to work to build these things into this group as we get into 2 more transfer windows before the next season, is trying to, again, build the depth and build the quality and be able to sustain all these games that are coming our way. And also in our league, it's the travel and the distances and and next year we're going to be dealing with a World Cup that cuts out 7 weeks, I think, roughly in the middle of the season potentially, which is going to push games closer together, more midweek games. It becomes a challenge, and we've been facing it, and we haven't been great and successful in it. We've done pretty well in the competitions, but we have not done well in the league in managing these moments.
The silver lining could be winning the League's Cup. If you do that, would you consider the season a success? Thank you.
Yeah, we got to recover and get through Wednesday, and one step at a time. But I mean, if we can put ourselves into that type of situation, I don't consider the season a success, but I consider us as having a success inside the season, which would be a good feeling, as we would re-secure a Champions League, we would have another trophy. It would be a silver lining inside of what's been a really difficult season, but I don't know if I would just turn around and call it a great season because of that. I think there's a lot of things that we need to take away from this year as we continue to build forward.
Thanks for talking to us, Joe. Certainly appreciate it. You guys looked like you had a chance there in the second half. You scored the goal, and I'd love to hear about what you saw on that play to get the ball past the keeper there, but also just sort of what that did for the team in the moment and your ability to believe that maybe you could get something out of that game.
Yeah. First of all, I would just give thanks to God for everything. Secondly, we came here for a win, and it's either a win or a point. But unfortunately, it didn't go as we planned. With my goal, I always wanted that space, and I just saw that space, and I just thought, okay, let me just run with the ball and just see whatever that will happen. And thanks God being so good, everything went through good. So I would say we had a very good first half, and second half also there was a lot of space, and with the weather and the altitude and all these kind of things, it also counts, but it's not an excuse. But I would say we just lost, but we just keep focusing on the next game. Now the most important thing for us is just focus on the Wednesday game and give everything to go to the next stage.
Greg talked a little bit about how he really liked your directness, and maybe in the last handful of games, 5, 6, 7 games, that he thought that your directness has really led to your success in scoring more goals. Do you feel like that's something that you've seen get a little better this season too?
Yeah, kudos to the coach, because he always tells me to always try, no matter what, because I always cut into my right. So every training he always tells me, no matter what, I should just keep going to my left and just whip the ball with my left, no matter what happens. I should just keep trying, no matter what. At least there will be a success. Even if I fail for 10 times, there will be a success for one. So I will really thank the coaches a lot for them giving me that faith and that confidence to do what I have to do. So I will just keep doing it, no matter how I feel, and I know with one movement, it's gonna be a success.
And then finally for me, just looking ahead to Wednesday, you had to play, the whole game here, and that's a lot of miles to travel back, playing 90 minutes tonight. How do you feel right now in the moment, looking ahead to Wednesday? Do you feel like you'll be ready to go?
Yeah, we are ready. Not only me, the team is really ready, because we've lost everything in this season, even though we have some few games left. But the most important thing for us as the team is just to focus on this Wednesday, because it's really important. We just have to go all out, blood or tin or sweat. We have to just do everything to win in our home game, because now we have an advantage to play in our home game. And we playing in our home game, we need to show the collections and the individual play, and as a team play also, because we have to win on Wednesday no matter what. there's no excuses for us anymore. We just need to give the supporters what they need, because this season has been ups and downs for us, and the only thing that we can take home is just to focus on this cup game and also the Campiona game ahead of us, and we just have to see whatever that come out, but we have to win and just go to the next stage no matter what.
Thanks, Joe. Travel safe.
Thank you so much.
Wait, one more. Thank you so much. All right, Sophie, go ahead.
Hi, Joseph. Thank you so much for your time. I have a couple of questions for you. First one is, last season was so euphoric. This season has been so challenging, like you said. How have you found playing with new players, and do you think the team's ever adjusted to kind of the changes that have been made? Has that taken any enjoyment out of playing this season for you?
I think it hasn't, because the players that came, even though they are new, they also know the system. It's just about finding the right moment, the right time, and as they are really new players, that doesn't mean they are not doing their job. They are also doing everything possible to also fit in the philosophy and everything. But as you can see, our season didn't really start good, and we don't need to put blames on the new players, and they're not doing what we have to do. We just lose. We lose as a team. We win as a team, and no matter what, we just need to focus and just do our best on Wednesday. That's the most important thing. Whatever that is left behind should be left behind, and just focus on the future, which is on Wednesday. We take one game at a time and just keep focusing and just keep winning the game, and we'll just see whatever that happens next season, because I think next season is going to be a greater season for us, especially we having our playmaker Ricky back.
I asked Greg the same question. Winning Leagues Cup would be a silver lining to this season. Would you consider it a success, Joseph, if you won Leagues Cup? What would that be for you?
Yeah, it's gonna be a success for us, because we having a bad season. All we have to do is just to win this Leagues Cup for every eyes and every bad mouth that has been saying all these kind of things towards us, to just shut down and shut up and just see us winning the cup. That's the most important thing. I think the fans also really expecting the cup that we are playing, the Leagues Cup, and I wish and hope and I pray that we'll be in the final, and the final is going to be in LA, and I wish we play against whoever that qualifies also to the next final, and then we just need to play. And I assure you, if we go to the final, we're going to win this Leagues Cup.
Thank you so much, and safe travels home.
Thank you so much. Thank you.